Chapter 3274. Phoenix. Helper. High school student Viscera Leby. Chen Zhao flipped through the file and called Viscera Leby according to the contact information on the file. Is this Ms. Viscera Leby? Yes. May I know who you are? Did you request for help from the supernatural half a month ago? Yes. Are you from that supernatural organization? Yes, I am. Do you have time now? Now. Viscera looked at the sky. It was already night. She didn't think it was a good idea to go out at this time. Plus, she'd only said it herself. I'm downstairs. Viscera pulled open the curtains. Indeed, there was someone standing under the shade of the tree. Why are you here? You wrote your address when you applied. Did you forget? Okay, sorry. I'll come down now. Viscera went downstairs carefully without waking up her family. In your request, you want to get rid of the evil spirit in your old house, right? Yes. Is it far from here? About 2 blocks from here. Viscera studied Chen Zhao. Do you mind if I take you there? How are you going to guide me? Chen Zhao grabbed Viscera's wrist. Viscera suddenly felt his body lighten, and then a powerful pressure hit him in the face. She couldn't keep her expression. The next moment she paused. Chen Zhao looked down and asked, which direction? It's over there. Viscera Leby calmed himself down with much difficulty. 10 seconds later, she finally arrived at the old house. Chen Zhao's little universe scanned the old house. 2 evil spirits. They were relatively dangerous and had killed people before. Chen Zhao casually created 2 balls of light and threw them into the house. All the windows in the house lit up immediately. They were just normal balls of light. They had no use other than illumination. In fact, the 2 evil spirits had already been crushed by Chen Zhao's little universe. Only dregs were left now. However, clients like Viscera Leby couldn't believe it. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe that the evil spirits had been destroyed. So Chen Zhao needed to create some light screens or special effects. This was to increase the credibility of his actions. Then, a black shadow broke through the window of the room. But in the next instant, the black shadow seemed to have been set ablaze. In an instant, it was burned to ashes. As expected, Viscera Leby was shocked by this shocking scene. Just now. That was. Viscera Leby could not close his mouth as he pointed at the scene just now. When the light disappeared, Chen Zhao said, Okay, the evil spirit has been destroyed. I'll cast a purification spell and completely purify the evil aura in this house. Is it already over? Yes, 2 evil spirits. They're a bit strong, but they're perfectly restrained by my magic. It's fine now. Your parents can sell this house for a good price. Thank you so much. It's my job. You're welcome. I'll send you home now. A month? Can you tell me your personal information again? I'll check the progress. Carlos Morin. I live in Nashville. Did you find out? Oh, your mission is that there are shadows coming in and out of your house every night. You suspect that there's an evil spirit in your house, right? Yes. How is it? Did my mission go through? Yes, it did, Chen Zhao said. I just happened to take over this mission. I'm in Nashville now and heading to your house. Chapter 3275. Are you in Nashville already? The man clearly didn't expect Chen Zhao to be in Nashville already. There seems to be a lot of wind over there. Oh, I'm in the car, Chen Zhao answered casually. I'm already at your address, Chen Zhao replied casually. But it doesn't look like someone lives here. Chen Zhao landed and realized that 699 Deer King Street wasn't a residential area. Instead, it was a cemetery. Are you here? Wait a moment. I'll be there soon. About 20 minutes later, a car stopped beside the cemetery. 2 people got out of the car. Chen Zhao glanced at them and frowned. The 2 men hid their auras very well. However, they didn't have any special techniques to hide their auras. They weren't normal people. Like Chen Zhao, they were spiritualists. They could only hide their auras with their own abilities. If it was an ordinary spiritual controller, it would indeed be very difficult to detect their cultivation. However, they couldn't hide from Chen Zhao. Before Chen Zhao, they couldn't hide at all. So, whether this mission was really like what it was in the mission description was. There were clearly some discrepancies. Which one of you is Mr. Carlos Maluin? Chen Zhao asked. The mission said that there was an evil spirit in Carlos Malouin's house. However, with the two men's abilities, an evil spirit might not be their match. Unless it was a ghost king in their house. I am, a man in his 30s said, stepping forward. What about this one? This is my older brother, right, Malouin? Then take me to your house. I'm in a hurry, and hope to purify it as soon as possible. The two brothers exchanged glances. Okay, sir, please follow us. Carlos Malouin said. Oh, sir, how should I address you? I'm Chinese. You can call me Chen. Okay, Mr. Chen. Chen Zhao got into the two men's car. I don't understand why you gave me the address of a cemetery. That's not a good client. Oh, I wrote the wrong address, Carlos Malouin said casually. The car stopped before a house. Mr. Chen, we're here. Please get off. Chen Zhao looked at the house before him. Is it here? The house looked like it had been around for a long time. The whole house was filled with a strong spiritual energy. If there really was an evil spirit inside, it would indeed be very powerful. We'll wait for you here. We don't dare to go inside. Chen Zhao nodded and entered the house. However, after entering the house, the door was locked with a click. Chen Zhao looked back at the door and continued walking. At this moment, there was a commotion in the room. It was as if there were many people, or rather a family. Old people, children, women, men, babies. They were playing, resting, crying, angry and happy. The entire house was filled with the emotions of these people. Another host has arrived? I hope this time he. A voice came from the room. This voice was an amalgamation of all the previous voices. It was just one sentence, but it was heavily emphasized. A spiritual body appeared before Chen Zhao. It was a six-faced evil spirit, one that Chen Zhao had never seen before. There were 6 faces on its head, an old person, a child, a woman, a man, a baby, and a ferocious-looking face at the back of its head. Don't run, please don't run, or else I'll be angry. You don't want to see me angry, the 6-faced evil spirit said in a strange tone. The 6-faced evil spirit said in a strange tone. Human, I will allow your soul to escape, but you must leave your body behind. Chen Zhao opened his arms. If you want my body, then come. The 6-faced evil spirit pounced at Chen Zhao. However, it didn't take over Chen Zhao's body as expected. Instead, it passed through Chen Zhao's body. The 6-faced evil spirit was stunned. What's going on? So polite? I didn't resist at all. Do you want to try again? The 6-faced evil spirit was infuriated by Chen Zhao's words. It pounced again, but this time it missed again. It passed through as if it had hit a wall. Chen Zhao yawned. Are you serious? Didn't you say you want to take over my body? You damned human, I'm going to tear you apart. The 6-faced evil spirit was furious. It felt like the human was playing with it. Carlos, do you think the demonic spirit can succeed? Carlos Malouin hesitated for a moment before shaking his head. I reckon it'll be very difficult. That demon spirit has the emotions of 100 people, and the faces of 1,000 people. Even if we find him the body of a spiritualist, I'm afraid it'll be very difficult to bear his power. How did that guy appear? I've never seen such a terrifying spirit before. It's not natural. It's man-made. Man-made? Can someone create such a monstrous spirit? Apparently, this method is a combination of Eastern soul training and Western death magic. First, it needs a family with 5 people. The family members must be an old person, a couple, a child, and an infant. Then, they'll be killed in order. Then, the spirits of the family of 5 will be placed in the hospital morgue to absorb the corpse aura in the morgue for 81 days. Why is it so similar to Thai ghost raising? Yes, it's Thailand's method of raising ghosts. This method is called the soul refinement method. In the East, the soul refinement method also means home. The vengeful spirit of extreme Yin is actually not particularly ferocious in the East. However, when combined with the Western death magic, it evolved into the ferocious demonic spirit of today. The vengeful spirit of extreme Yin is specifically fed with special food. What food? Chapter 3279. Hello. Is this the supernatural organization? Yes. Who is it? I'm Sunga. I made an appointment with the supernatural organization 2 days ago. From your voice, You should be the one who contacted me. You said you'd help me in 3 days. So I'm calling to ask if you can send someone over to help me. Oh, I remember now. Wait a moment. Chen Zhao quickly flipped through the document. He finally found Seng's document. His daughter seemed to be possessed by a demon. The document was marked as urgent. Chen Zhao had an impression of this. However, he'd had a lot of missions these days. So, he'd forgotten about this urgent mission. I'll confirm the address with you. If there's no problem, I'll send someone over. Okay. After confirming the address, Chen Zhao immediately rushed over. Now he was in charge of accepting and carrying out missions. Soon he arrived at Seng's residence. Hello, Mr. Seng. I'm from the supernatural organization. Seng looked at Chen Zhao. After some thought, he said, You're the one who called me twice, right? Aren't you the operator? Chen Zhao was a bit awkward. I'm also in charge of carrying out missions. Of course, we have a lot of people. You can call me because this area is under my jurisdiction, so most missions are assigned to me. Oh, I see. But you're a professional, right? Yes. Don't worry. I'm a very professional exorcist. Good. Please come in. Sung was quite well off. He lived in a high-end neighborhood. The decorations were more luxurious too. However, when he reached the bedroom, he saw a lot of messiness and damage. This is? My daughter did it. Seng's expression was serious. When he reached his daughter's door, he asked again to confirm. Mr. Chun, are you sure it's okay? Don't worry. Chen Zhao was very patient with clients. At least, he wouldn't lose his temper at them most of the time. On one hand, they were laymen, so they would naturally be suspicious of the so-called spiritualist and exorcist's identity. On the other hand, they or their families were being attacked by supernatural events. They naturally wanted to get rid of the trouble as soon as possible. So it was understandable that they repeatedly confirmed Chen Zhao's abilities and identity. Unless it was the Carlos brothers' trap a few days ago. Only in such a situation would Chen Zhao counterattack. Sengo carefully opened the door handle. Chen Zhao saw his daughter's room. The room, which was originally pink, now looked like it had been invaded by a wild beast. It was a mess, and there were scratch marks everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, the furniture, everything. Lying on the bed was a girl about 10 years old. The girl's hands and feet were spread out, and all 4 of them were tied up. Senj was a little scared and worried. Mr. Chen, are you all right? Don't worry. Chen Zhao nodded slightly. I won't joke around with your daughter and your safety. Chapter 3282. However, summoning demons was quite professional. Knowing 3 to 5 demon summoning spells and summoning dozens, or hundreds of times, wasn't considered a professional. Chen Zhao was a true professional. He had summoned demons of all levels. How many sacrifices did he need for each type of demon, and what conditions did he need to summon them? Chen Zhao could basically count them all. He hadn't been in the spiritual world for long. Speaking of common sense, Chen Zhao's attempts in the spiritual world were basically counting backwards. But when it came to summoning demons, if Chen Zhao said he was second, no one would dare to say they were first. Earth was the main plane, but it was only so big. A demon lord's territory was so big. For example, Beelzebub Zophie's territory had devoured 6 or 7 demon lords of the same level. His original territory was almost as big as a world. So the price to summon a demon of this level was already astronomical. Sacrificing tens of millions of people for a few minutes was pointless. So in theory, it was already impossible to summon a demon of the level of a demon lord. It was impossible in the past, and it was even more impossible now. Even with Chen Zhao's relationship with Beelzebub Zophie, he probably didn't want his sacrifices. Chen Zhao still had to prepare an astronomical number of materials for the summoning ceremony. Summoning demons wasn't a one-sided contract. Activating the summoning process required very strict conditions. Magic, sacrifices, and contracts. None of them could be missing. So he had to summon a demon above the level of a demon lord. It wouldn't be as simple as a sacrifice. If a demon lord appeared in the modern world, due to the world barrier and the suppression of the power of the world, its power would be suppressed by at least half. If it was a secondary demon king, it wouldn't even have 1% of its power. Earth wasn't a small world. It was a world with complete rules. If the power of the world here completely suppressed Chen Zhao, he might self-destruct at any moment. But Chen Zhao was a native creature. He was part of the world's consciousness. So, Chen Zhao wouldn't be suppressed by the power of the world. But if he went to other worlds, he would be suppressed by the power of the world. Of course, apart from hell, Chen Zhao hadn't been to any other worlds with complete rules. All he went to were small worlds with incomplete rules. The power of the small worlds would suppress Chen Zhao. But he didn't feel uncomfortable at all. This was because Chen Zhao had a small world. His inner world was a small world. Therefore, to Chen Zhao, the world power of the small world posed no threat. Or rather, the threat was relatively small. In a world with complete rules, the more powerful an outsider was, the stronger the suppression would be. Even if the great demon king was several times stronger, he would not be spared. Samuel was a typical example. Even he couldn't resist the world force under the complete laws. Therefore, when he appeared in the modern world, not to mention power, it didn't even have a complete form. It could only exist in the form of a kitten. That was why Chen Zhao told the girl that he wanted to summon the Lord of Hell. It wasn't that he didn't believe it, but he found it laughable. Where can I find your boss, Anthony Milk? I can't find him. He always contacts me when he has a mission. The white-shirt girl looked at Chen Zhao in fear. Then do you know the specific steps of this summoning ritual? I know, but I'm not sure if I can complete it. Shiz replied. Tell me. First, you have to gather the descendants of the King of Terror, King of Power, King of Death, King of Depravity, King of Destruction, King of Darkness, King of Blood, King of Nightmares, King of Winter, King of Fire, King of Withering, and King of Nirvana. Then, use their blood to activate the ancient magic array and summon the Lord of Hell. What's the ancient magic array? It was discovered by our boss Anthony Irk. It's a magic circle and a relic. Where? I don't know. How often does Anthony Milk contact you? Usually 2 to 3 days. Chen Zhao carried the white-shirt girl back to Los Angeles. The girl didn't know who Chen Zhao was. However, Chen Zhao had carried her all the way back to Los Angeles. The whole process took less than 3 minutes. This ability was enough to make her tremble in fear. She felt that Chen Zhao was much scarier than her boss, Anthony Milk. The girl was called Tem Isabella. She wasn't an experienced spiritualist. It had only been half a year since she entered and came into contact with the spiritual world. Then he was noticed by Anthony Irk. Speaking of which, her ability was quite powerful. She could create large amounts of water out of thin air. Furthermore, it could control the water within a certain area. If it was in a place with a lot of water, such as a river, lake, or sea, it would be very difficult. Her combat power would soar. Especially at sea level, she could even create a small tsunami. Of course, now that it was in Chen Zhao's hands, there was no need to think about it anymore. She didn't have the courage to challenge him. After all, those companions were not any weaker than her. None of them could last more than 2 rounds. After Chen Zhao threw Tem Isabella into the dungeon, Chen Zhao dialed the little handsome guy's number. Little handsome, is the mount you promised me not ready yet? No, I'm working on it. Have you heard of a summoning spell that uses the blood of 13 descendants of lesser demon kings to summon the 7 deadly sins? How is that possible? Even the blood of 130 or 1,300 descendants of lesser demon kings can't summon 1/10,000th of any of the 7 deadly sins, let alone 13. Even the blood of lesser demon kings can't do it. Plus, there are only 99 of them. Then, according to your estimation, if this magic formation is completed and the blood of the descendants of lesser demon kings is gathered, what level of demon can be summoned? Can it be a lesser demon king? No, it's too far away. It's possible if it's 1% of a lesser demon king's power, but it can only exist for a short time. It might not even last a breath. The consciousness and power of the summoned lesser demon king will be instantly destroyed by the power of the world. The remaining demon king's power will also cause great damage. Chen Zhao couldn't help but feel nervous. How much damage will it cause? With your current strength, it won't be a threat to you. It should cause a few years of climate change. Then the power of the world in the main plane will gradually repair the disrupted climate. It won't cause the end of humanity, right? Nope. That's good. But if someone wants to activate this summoning spell, it's most likely to be a great lord or a lord demon. Chapter 3283. Chen Zhao finished communicating with the handsome guy. Chen Zhao also relaxed a little. At least he confirmed that it wasn't a ritual to summon a demon king. It made sense. It was impossible to summon a demon king anyway, although it wasn't a groundless worry. After confirming it, Chen Zhao heaved a long sigh of relief. Even if the enemy wanted to summon a great lord, it would be troublesome. If it was a great lord, Chen Zhao was 100% confident. But in a battle of this level, Chen Zhao couldn't guarantee what kind of effect it would have. Unless Chen Zhao could kill it in one blow. Otherwise it would definitely cause great damage. On the third day, Tem Isabella told Chen Zhao. Anthony Falk had contacted her. Anthony Falk asked Tem Isabella to collect the blood of the descendant of terror as soon as possible. Chen Zhao wanted Tem Isabella to agree to his request first and tell him that she'd already collected it. Then they agreed on the delivery location. Tem Isabella arrived at the delivery location. She was at the edge of a cornfield on a farm. After waiting for about half an hour, a car stopped in front of Tem Isabella. A man got out of the car. He wore sunglasses that covered most of his face. The man glanced at Tem Isabella. "Why are you alone?" "They're busy." Tem Isabella was actually very nervous. Nevertheless, she still forced herself to calm down and replied, "How come there's no signal when I tried to contact them earlier?" "There's no signal at the place they went to," Tem Isabella replied calmly. "I don't know what they're doing either. After getting the blood, they told me and left. I don't know where exactly they went." These were all lines that she had rehearsed before. When she'd been locked up, she'd practiced these lines countless times. So she could speak quite fluently now. "Where's the thing I want?" Tem Isabella took out a test tube. It was filled with red liquid. There was also a strong aura. Even through the test tube, one could still feel the strong demonic aura. "Such a strong aura. Are you sure it's from the girl who just awakened?" the man asked. "Yes." Tem Isabella nodded. She didn't know if this was devil's blood, and she wasn't even sure if it was blood. Chen Zhao had prepared this for her. After hearing the words of the sunglasses man, he secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Strange, could it be that the girl's bloodline is very similar? The man in sunglasses held the test tube and looked at it again and again. He was sure that this was indeed devil's blood. Only evil demon blood could emit such a strong evil demon aura. But he was afraid of making a mistake. After all, he was the one who activated the demonic bloodline in the girl. At that time, he did not notice that the girl had such a pure demonic bloodline. If he had known earlier, he would have made better use of it. "Okay, you can go now," said the sunglasses man. "What about the benefits you promised me?" Tem Isabella asked. The sunglasses man smiled and took out a check. "This is yours. You guys did well this time." The man in sunglasses said, "I'll need your help next time. When they come back, tell them not to go to places without signal next time." "Got it." Tem Isabella nodded. "Oh, you're Anthony Irk, right?" The man in shades smiled and did not answer Tem Isabella's question directly. "I'm in a hurry. Bye." After returning to the car, the man said to the driver beside him, "Let's go." "Did you get it?" the driver asked. "Yes, but something's not right. Let's go first." "Hurry." After the car left, Tem Isabella was somewhat hesitant. She was unsure if she should stay where she was. She did not dare to run. After all, Chen Zhao's terror was still fresh in her memory. She wasn't sure if she would be punished if she left without telling Chen Zhao. At the moment, Chen Zhao was chasing the car. The car had been driving for an hour. "Are you sure there's something wrong with that woman?" the driver asked. "I'm not sure, but I can't contact her companions. Didn't she say that they went to a place without signal? I've checked the whereabouts of those people, and there are no records of them leaving the city. 3 days ago, her companions disappeared. Their families and friends don't have accurate information about them, and their daily necessities are still there. You've been investigating this for the past few days. What we're doing is too risky. We have to be careful with every operation. What do we do now? Keep driving in the city. Don't stop. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. The car kept driving in the city without any rules. Should we keep driving? Yes. The man in sunglasses nodded. I don't see anyone following us. Stop at the service station in front. I'll go buy some food. The man got out of the car and bought some food. Then he returned to the car. Okay, we can go back now. But we haven't given the client our stuff yet. Already? In this service station? Yes. The man in sunglasses nodded. The driver was about to start driving when a man suddenly appeared in front of them. The driver rolled down the window and was about to yell. The man walked to the back door of the car and sat in. You. Chen Zhao leaned against the window and supported his face with one hand. Drive. Who are you? Chen Zhao tilted his head and looked at the two people in front. Tell me, who did you give the stuff to? The driver and the man in sunglasses glanced at each other. They moved in unison and opened their car doors, wanting to rush out. Click. Before they could open the door, it locked automatically. Then the accelerator was pressed down, and the car started. It sped out of the service station. Both of their expressions changed. Who exactly are you? I'm the one asking you questions, not the other way around. You should be clear about the current situation. Don't you know who we are? We're from the Wayne brothers and sisters. Alright, we already knew who they were before this. They had just awakened less than half a year ago. But they were all very powerful and high profile. So, we just pretended to be Anthony Irk and talked to her. Chen Zhao rubbed his chin and picked up the phone. Aluntarai Manette, what do you think? President, there are a lot of loopholes in his answers. First of all, he said he was trying to disguise Anthony Falco's tone. To disguise Anthony Falco's tone, the person must be someone familiar with him. However, Miss Elizabeth didn't notice his conversation with her, which means he's not only good at disguising himself, but he's also very familiar with Miss Elizabeth. From these 2 points, we can tell he's not just a delivery man, Aluntarai said. President, let me add something, Manette said. I logged in according to the website he gave me. The website looks similar, but there are many loopholes. I checked the backend records and only today has an IP. There's also no record of a request. This means that his preparation isn't perfect. This is their mistake. Another thing is that their delivery method seems very strict, but there are actually many loopholes. They only stopped once at the service station and even bought something. So if we break the process into several steps, we can understand their delivery method. First, they get off the car, enter the store, choose the item and pay. I discussed it with Aluntarai. The most likely step is the payment step. You mean there's a problem with the cashier? No, there's nothing wrong with the cashier. They give the cashier the banknotes with the information of the goods. At this time, the customers following behind get the banknotes from the cashier by giving them change. This is a more popular underground transaction method now. They use an unrelated person as a middleman, and then complete the transaction without the middleman knowing. Chen Zhao understood. He raised his head and looked at the man in shades and the driver. Now, do you have anything else to add? Both of their expressions became extremely ugly. I've heard of dangerous goods transportation, Manette added. But it's not like this. First of all, they won't take the goods from a certain place. Instead, they'll pick up the goods from a certain place. The delivery method is also more strict. So, President, I think you can obtain information through violence now. It'll be more effective. Okay, sorry for interrupting your vacation. Continue to have fun. Chen Zhao looked at the two. You still have some time. The man in shades and the driver felt a force pressing down on them from all directions. Their bodies started shrinking. Chen Zhao looked at them calmly. You'll soon be squashed into meatballs by my power. Before you die, you still have a chance to speak. Just like Miss Elizabeth, I only need someone to speak. The man in shades and the driver glanced at each other. They could already feel extreme pain. Their bones were wailing. Their bodies pressed against each other under the unfamiliar force. They started panting heavily, but it couldn't reduce their pain. Soon, they found it hard to breathe. Blood started seeping out from their mouths, noses, and ears. Their eyes bulged out from their bloodshot eyes. I'll talk, the driver said with difficulty. Chen Zhao looked at the time. 49 seconds. I thought you could last at least a minute. Chapter 3286. Santa Fe City, capital of New Mexico. Chun Zhao and the driver from the Three Gods sect, Blinken, had been here for 2 days. Blinken pushed open the door. Mr. Chun, I found it. Let's go. I hope the information you've gathered is useful. Chun Zhao and Blinken drove to their destination, an ordinary apartment. Knock knock. Chun Zhao knocked on the door. Just then the door opened, but only a crack. Inside was a young woman, who looked less than 30 years old. She was quite pretty, but her face was a little haggard. Who are you looking for? Is this the home of Dai Ong and his wife? Yes, I'm Creel Dion Berletta. My husband is at work. If you want to see him, you'll have to wait for another 2 hours. The woman scrutinized Chun Zhao and Blinken. Hello, Ms. Creel. Chun Zhao looked at Creel. We're here for your daughter. You are the police. Creel's face immediately turned cold. She didn't seem to like cops. No, we're not the police. We've said everything we need to say. What else do you want? My daughter has been dead for more than half a year, and you guys don't have any clues at all. Every time, you guys ask the same question. I've had enough. I've had enough of you guys. Collier lost control of his emotions. Chun Zhao calmly watched as Creel cursed and lost his composure. Creel slammed the door angrily. Chun Zhao and Blinken were still standing at the door. About a few minutes later, the door opened again. Collier pulled the door open. Come in. You'd better give me some useful information. Chun Zhao and Blinken finally entered the house. Claire poured a glass of water for them. Tell me, what do you want to ask? Ms. Cryer, as I said before, we are not the police. Well, which department are you from? We're in charge of the supernatural. Sir, are you sure you're here to investigate my daughter's death? You're not joking? Chun Zhao glanced at Blinken. Blinken stretched out his hands, and a dark red energy ball started brewing between his palms. Are you satisfied with this answer? Ms. Cryer. Creel covered his mouth in disbelief. After a long while, Creel finally calmed down a little. Is my daughter's death a supernatural event? Her death should be murder, but it's related to the supernatural world, Chun Zhao said. She's just a 6-year-old child. How could she have anything to do with people like you? She didn't offend the people from the spiritual world, Chun Zhao said helplessly. The people from the spiritual world have their eyes on her. Could it be that the world of people like you is filled with such perverts? No wonder Creel was so mean to Chun Zhao. After all, her daughter had died a violent death. He couldn't ask her to have a good impression of the spiritual world anymore. Miss Creel, I'm sorry. Although there aren't many of them, they do exist in the shadows. Tell me what exactly happened. Who killed my daughter? Why did they treat my daughter in such a cruel way? She was only a child. She was only 6 years old. The more Creel spoke, the more agitated he became. In the end, he broke down and burst into tears. After she calmed down, Chun Zhao said, I also want to know who killed your daughter. In other words, you don't know who did it either, right? We hope to get some information from you and your husband, or to see if your daughter's belongings are still there. You need Rachel and me to cooperate? Yes, we do. If you find that person, can we kill him ourselves? Miss Creel, do you know that killing is never easy? I don't care. I just want to take revenge in my own way. I want to kill him. I dream of killing him. Fury and hatred were burning in Creel's eyes. Creel looked at Chun Zhao and Blinken. You're not cops, are you? Your goal isn't to seek justice for my daughter. You just want to find the murderer. No, we're seeking justice, Chun Zhao said indifferently. Trust me, Chun Zhao said calmly. They'll regret what they've done after falling into my hands. Miss Creel, killing is actually a scary thing. Creel started crying again. After crying, her attitude was still determined. I don't want to listen to those big theories. I just want a chance. Do you know that I dream of my daughter every day? She's crying to me. She tells me that her entire body hurts. Can you understand this feeling? Just then the door was pushed open. Ryan Dion was back. He saw 2 strangers in the house. Creel, who are they? Are they the police again? Riley Dion was a firefighter. He was tall and looked very strong. We're here to investigate your daughter's death, Chun Zhao answered. Creel told him about Chun Zhao and Blinken's identities. Blinken demonstrated his ability again. Riley Dion sat on the sofa in silence. Rayleigh didn't say anything after that. Creel was still expressing his strong demands. personally punish the murderer. Just then Rachel stood up. I'll take you to my daughter's room. I'm not sure what's useful, but maybe you can find some clues. Creel, can you get me something to eat? I'm very hungry. Chen Zhao and Blake followed Rachel to their daughter's room. Sir, I hope that you can inform me as soon as you find the murderer. Or I can go with you. Mr. Rachel, compared to your wife, I think you should be calmer. You should know that this won't do you any good. But I just can't control myself. I want to kill him. I just want to kill him. The impulsiveness and murderous aura that Rayleigh Dion displayed was even stronger than that of his wife Creel. That's not a person, Chen Zhao said. You'll sink into madness. Just then, Chen Zhao realized that there was an unknown flower in a bottle on the desk. The flower was about to wither. However, it was emitting a faint magic power. Chen Zhao picked it up. Do you recognize this? Rachel glanced at the flower and nodded silently. Light red flower. It's used to stimulate the bloodline, but it's extremely poisonous, Brinken answered. Marshal Grimmer propped himself up in pain. His entire body was trembling slightly. Okay, I'll tell you why. Marshal Grimmer's pained expression suddenly turned ferocious. His facial muscles stiffened, as if he'd injected too much Botox. His pupils also showed an inhuman state. His fingernails sharpened, and his limbs that had been broken were twisting in an inconceivable way before their joints were reconnected. Mr. Chen. Chen Zhao walked up calmly. He grabbed the back of Marshal Grindel's neck and pressed him to the ground. He's just struggling, Chen Zhao said indifferently. It's a useless struggle. Marshal Grindel tried to climb up and fight back. But he couldn't. Chen Zhao was too strong. Let's continue. Seeing Marshal Grindel's transformation, Rhett Dion was even more certain that Marshal was the murderer. He was even more certain that he was the murderer who killed his daughter. There was no longer any hesitation in his actions. Why? Bang! Bang! It had to be said that after demonizing, Marshal Grindel was even more resistant to beatings. However, this didn't mean that he couldn't feel pain. Rhett Dion was still very strong. He even used a metal baseball bat. Even a demon's body could be injured. Who else apart from you? Tell me who else. Marshal Grindel endured the pain. Do you want to know? You know that you're on the verge of death. You don't know who you're facing. I only know that I'll kill you demons with my own hands. Then why should I tell you? If you tell me now, you can die more easily, Chen Zhao said indifferently. I'll tell you. Let me go. Chen Zhao's finger slid across Marshal Grindel's skin and tore off a strip of flesh. I'll tear your body apart piece by piece. Trust me, I'm good at it. Then came the cruel torture. The entire process didn't last long. Marshal didn't hide anything. At least, Chen Zhao got the information he wanted. Marshal Grindel's superior. Rhett Dion looked at the dying Marshal Grindel on the ground. How should we deal with this guy? Hell is prepared for people like him, Chen Zhao said. With that, Chen Zhao suddenly increased his strength. Marshal Griner tried to struggle for a while, but he soon stopped moving. Mr. Rhett, are you satisfied with this result? Are you going to that nest next? Mr. Rhett, it's a supernatural battle next. I'll go with you. Rhett Dion took out his gun. Look, I've even prepared this guy. Chen Zhao shook his head with a smile. Those guys don't eat this. Do you have anything that can kill these demons? A baby holding a gun might hurt the baby, but it might also hurt itself. I'm not a baby. I've killed people before. Once I met an arsonist in a fire. I doused him with gasoline and kicked him into the fire. I told you it's too dangerous. Or maybe I should find the way myself. Chen Zhao rubbed his forehead. It would be more dangerous if he did. It started to gather a large number of evil spirits. Through the magic array, he released an aura that attracted evil spirits. Then, countless evil spirits began to surge in from all directions. They then combined the evil spirits into even more terrifying evil spirits. Just then a few cars drove in from outside. A few evil cultists in red robes got out of the car. The evil cultists in the area all bowed to these red-robed evil cultists. The red-robed evil cultists began to give orders. The low-level evil cultists began to dig up the concrete floor. There was actually a magic array under the abandoned pier. No wonder the pier was abandoned. Ha! Do you know why? Chun Zhao looked at Rayleigh. This pier used to be the city's largest trading center. This dock was originally the city's largest trading hub. Every day, a large number of imports and exports came and went from here. But no one knows when it started. Murders kept happening here. Every day, there would be a murder, and no one had ever caught the murderer. It lasted for 13 days, and 13 people died. The police couldn't find any clues or motive, so the dock was completely abandoned. All the workers at the dock were unwilling to continue working. Later, it was reopened, but another person died on that day. Since then, it has never been reopened. Ever since then, it hasn't been reopened. Just then, the red-robed evil cultists in the center each took out a bottle of blood and poured it onto the magic array on the ground. Then, they joined hands and chanted in unison. Rayleigh had a premonition. He turned to look at Chun Zhao. What are you waiting for? The real boss hasn't come out yet. If we break the ritual now, there might be a bunch of people with brain problems who will continue to summon the big guy in the future. It's better to wait for them to summon the big boss, and then deal with them together. But, aren't they summoning a demon king? Don't worry. I've asked professionals. They're not summoning a demon king. What professionals? A real demon king. Just then blood rose from the ground. The ground cracked, and a huge hand pierced out of the magic array. Then the head, and then the body. The huge demon was climbing out of the summoning ritual with difficulty. Great King of Sin Kirkener Gizidin, respond to your servant's call. We will welcome you with unparalleled glory. The huge demon's upper body had already passed through the magic array. His skin was bright red. He had 2 wings on his back and 10 eyes on his face. There was also a ring of fire formed by hellfire above his head. He, or rather she was a female demon with obvious gender characteristics. I, Kirkener Gizidin, have finally come to the modern world. Kirkener Gizidin was still trying his best to climb out of the magic array. My loyal servants, increase your magic power. Your offerings are all under my watch. The moment I truly descend, you will receive unparalleled blessings. The cultists chanted even louder. Their master's request seemed to be their greatest motivation. The low-level demons that had been summoned earlier had been greedily devouring the offerings. But now, they were trembling under Kirkener Gizidin's demonic aura. They all knelt before the magic array, sincerely waiting for Kirkener Gizidin's arrival. Riley Dion's jaw dropped at the sight. Was this the person he wanted to take revenge on? Could humans really defeat this kind of demon? Just then Chun Zhao stood up. Okay, now it's the official start. Start what? Chun Zhao looked back at Riley Dion. Save the world. Chun Zhao raised his right arm. Chapter 3291. Greece. A group of people walked out of the airport. Is this Greece? It feels like the air here is made of myths, a woman said. I hope we can really find the mythical ruins this time. Even if we can't find it, we can treat it as a vacation. I don't have that much money to travel to Greece every time. We have high hopes this time. I remember that the statue of Hera I bought last time seemed to have a reaction when I put it on the map. I think the statue of Hera is guiding me. I hope it's really like what you want. This team was made up of strong combat power, the most outstanding alchemists, and the best formation masters. Of course, they were the best at their level. They came from various countries. The best formation master was from the Wuxia Dao Yisheng school. His name was Yunyu. The most outstanding alchemist was from England. He was a noble child. His name was Luowen. However, he didn't like an easy life and preferred adventure. There were also 3 spiritualists with top combat power. They were paired, Lillian and Vidal. One was an elementalist, one was an archer, and one was a special spiritualist. They were all disciples of the Dao Yisheng school. Yunyu was the son of the Dao Yisheng school's leader. They played together when they were young. Later, after they left the Dao Yisheng school, they returned to their own residences or clans. However, they didn't lose contact. The first time they worked together was when they were 18 or 19 years old. At that time, Yunyu found an ancient treasure map and contacted them, wanting to uncover the secret of the treasure map together. The few hot-blooded youths embarked on a journey. In the end, it was more daunting than dangerous, and they gained a lot. Later, they worked together many times. They became familiar and trusted each other. At the same time, they became more and more tacit. So now, whenever they had any adventure, they would call the others. They had come to Greece several times. At first, it was a map recorded in ancient Greek. After translation, they learned that it was a place called the Tomb of Olympus. However, they followed the translated route of the map and found nothing. They all knew that the map alone wasn't enough. They still lacked an opportunity. This time, they finally found that opportunity: the statue of Hera, a magic tool bought in a second-hand shop. You look at those people. Luoan pointed at a few people not far away. One of them wore aviator sunglasses and had his hair combed into a bun. His hair was black and white, and his figure was tall and straight. Don't you think that old man looks like Celestial Master Zhang from Longhu Mountain? What are you thinking? How could Celestial Master Zhang come here? I said it looked like him, but I didn't say it was definitely him. While they were discussing in a low voice, those people had already gotten into the car. Is that really not Celestial Master Zhang? Luoan asked. I think it looks quite similar. Even though they were sitting in the car, Luoan couldn't help but ask, you Chinese all look the same. If I say it's not, then it's not. Celestial Master Zhang is such a decent person. He wouldn't dress so fashionably, Yunyu said, rolling his eyes. The team did not stay in the hotel. Instead, he went straight to the Parthenon temple. This was the starting point of the blueprint. Luoan injected the magic power in his palm into the blueprint. A cloud began to appear on the blueprint. The cloud seemed to be alive, shrouding everyone in it. Then the scenery around them changed. The Parthenon temple disappeared and was replaced by a vast wasteland. Then the cloud turned into a star chart. Luoan closed his eyes and slowly moved his finger along the trajectory of the star chart. The surrounding scenery also began to pass by quickly. It was as if they were riding an extremely high-speed train. As Luoan's finger moved faster or slower, the scenery that flew by would also speed up or slow down. If Luoan had enough magic power, they could even reach the end of the star chart in an instant. But in fact, the movement of Luoan's finger consumed a lot of magic power. Every minute and second, Luoan was using a huge amount of magic power to maintain their movement. Finally, Luoan's finger stopped, and the group came to an unfamiliar cliff. In front of them was the boundless sea, and in the distance was the shadow of a mountain shrouded in clouds and mist. It was not the first time they had been here. They all suspected that the mountain shrouded in clouds and mist might be the legendary Mount Olympus. They tried to approach the mountain again and again, but to no avail. This was the end of the star chart. If they wanted to get to the mountain, they could only walk. But no matter how they walked, they could never get close to the mountain. After walking for 10 days to half a month, the distance to the mountain didn't seem to be getting closer. So the distance to the mountain was far farther than they thought. Or maybe they were blocked by magic. So if they didn't break this magic, they couldn't really get close to the mountain. Luoan took out the statue of Hera. The statue of Hera didn't need him to input magic power. The moment the statue of Hera was taken out, it suddenly cracked. Everyone was startled, but before they could react, a voice rang out. The fragments suddenly turned into countless spots of light. The spots of light slowly formed the shape of a goddess. My children, you are finally here. Are you here to open a miracle? Who are you? Everyone was surprised and looked at the goddess made of light in front of them in disbelief. Even if it was just made of light, they still felt how incredible the existence they were facing was. Majestic, powerful, surging. When they faced this goddess, they didn't feel like they were facing a person, but more like facing a vast sky or a vast plain. Chapter 3292. They drifted on the sea for 7 days. On the 7th day they saw land. They didn't know how long they'd been drifting for. It seemed very far, but it also seemed like they'd floated on the sea for a few days before returning to their starting point. When they landed on land, Hera appeared again. My children, you've arrived at the foot of Mount Olympus. Everyone was confused. Foot of the mountain? Where was Mount Olympus? They could still see a blurry silhouette in the distance. How come there wasn't anything nearby? Great goddess, why can't we see Mount Olympus? You're in the grave of the lost. This place will hide the truth. The plane you see is just an illusion. If you want to touch the real Mount Olympus, you can only destroy the bloodthirsty silk-coiled ones here, and use their eyeballs to clear the illusion. Hera pointed out the location of the bloodthirsty silk-coiled ones. When they'd heard the name, they'd thought that it was a spider-type magical beast. But when they saw it, they realized that the bloodthirsty silk-coiled ones were actually a giant butterfly magical beast. They defeated the bloodthirsty silk-coiled ones with some difficulty. After plucking out the eyeballs, they injected magic power into the eyeballs. They injected magic into their eyes, and in an instant, the scenery in front of them changed. An extremely majestic mountain appeared in front of them. They couldn't even see the outline of the entire mountain from where they were. Similarly, they couldn't see the peak either. The foot of the mountain was already shrouded in mist. The higher they went, the more blurry it became. They even wondered if this divine mountain could reach heaven. It's spectacular. Luoan and the others couldn't help but exclaim. Yes, it's spectacular. Just then, they heard an unfamiliar voice. When they turned around, they saw a few people walking toward them. Wasn't one of them the old man they'd seen the other day? Celestial Master Zhang? You're Celestial Master Zhang? Yunyu finally confirmed that the old man was Zhang Tianyi. The others were also shocked. It really was Zhang Tianyi. In the spiritual world, Zhang Tianyi was almost a legendary figure. They didn't think that they'd actually see him in person one day. And so close too. Chen Zhao, it's about time. Chen Zhao nodded and flew into the air. Seeing Chen Zhao fly into the sky, the young people couldn't help but be surprised. First of all, being able to fly was a sign of outstanding strength. They thought that Chen Zhao was Zhang Tianyi's junior. Soon, Chen Zhao disappeared from the clouds. All of you stand behind us. Come here if you don't want to die, said the 23rd Blood Mary. Everyone looked at the 23rd Blood Mary. For a moment, they did not recognize her. It couldn't be helped. The 23rd generation Blood Mary looked like a 10-year-old girl. Everyone was even more puzzled as to why Zhang Tianyi would bring such a little girl with him. Because of this, they felt even more incredulous. Just then, the statue of Hera suddenly revealed Hera's form. You filthy, despicable humans! You deserve to die. You deserve to die. Chen Zhao flicked casually and destroyed Hera's form. Mount Olympus was the source of power for the Olympians. But now Mount Olympus was heavily damaged. At the same time, it was also unprecedented. In the past, no one could cause such damage to Mount Olympus. The young people were all in disbelief. I thought you could smash Mount Olympus, Zhang Tian said insincerely. It's not that I can't smash it. If I smash Mount Olympus, where are we going to get our trophies? Chen Zhao, what's with that look? I've never seen you do this before.